Cloud Generation Firewall presentation. The need for a next-generation firewall came from the evolution of the modern network. A constant stream of new applications provide new ways to access information, as well as new potential vulnerabilities. No longer are people only logging in from physically connected devices at corporate offices. Everyone has laptops, tablets, and smartphones that they want to be able to connect with. Software as a service, virtualization, and public cloud offerings create efficient ways of providing information as well as new threat vectors. This results in new network architecture and new and more advanced security needs. Initially, organizations would be fine with a traditional firewall and some basic virus protection. With this, you'd be able to determine what source IP could access what destination IP over what service ports. Today, there are so many various traffic flows and advanced types of attacks. This effectively does little more than prevent one area of an organization accessing resources from another. The new types of network architecture, traffic flows, and attacks all created a need for more advanced technology that would provide additional visibility into network traffic. This was the reason for the creation of the Cloud Generation Firewall. The CGF is able to inspect traffic flows to understand the identity of what specific application that traffic is coming from. With this information, administrators are able to provide a much more granular set of rules to ensure that the right people are able to access the right resources at the right time. In addition to firewall technologies, other technologies that may have required separate devices in the past have also been integrated into the CGF, including WAN optimization, VPN termination, reporting, and QoS marking. The CGF comes with numerous advanced features on the box, including AV, IPS, QoS, and various other protection and filtering tools. Several other services are handled through our cloud. Energize updates provide new signature updates, hotfixes, patches, and firmware releases. Cloud Advanced Threat Protection provides resource-intensive sandboxing technology. The cloud also provides web filtering updates for new websites on the internet so that they can be appropriately categorized to maintain business security policies and user experiences. Barracuda Advanced Threat Protection, or BATP, is an integrated cloud-based service that consists of multiple layers of threat detection, combined with machine learning techniques. Each detection layer is designed to progressively eliminate threats at different levels of severity and complexity. By pre-filtering threats as they move through the layers, BATP can respond very quickly to any type of attack with minimal delays in the data path and without requiring any compromises to security policies. Also, the various threat detection layers automatically share analysis results with each other, so the overall service gets better and faster at responding to new threats as it processes more data. This ensures that repeated instances of threats can be caught quickly at the lower layers, while leaving the more resource-intensive layers like sandboxing free to operate on emerging threat variants. The layers include advanced threat signatures. Barracuda collects threat signatures from over 250,000 Barracuda endpoints, appliances, and services across the web, as well as information from honeypots, crawlers, downloads, viruses, malware, spyware, email attachments, network, and application data. This all comes together to create a massive threat intelligence signature database that ensures that any new threat seen anywhere under Barracuda's purview is immediately shared across all its security products and subscribers in real time. Behavioral and heuristic analysis. Behavioral and heuristic analysis is a process where the execution of certain programming commands of a questionable piece of code or script is conducted in a controlled environment. The resulting behavior is analyzed for common viral activities such as replication, file overwrites, and attempts to obfuscate the suspicious file. Other suspicious activities might also include excessively long timers, programming loops that run for days, or code that tries to access the registry or memory functions. Static code analysis. Static analysis consists of examining parts of an executable file without actually executing it. Malicious code writers attempt to obfuscate the malicious code to subvert the malicious code detectors, such as antivirus software. The static analysis layer analyzes and deobfuscates any questionable code constructs. This layer is a highly effective, fast method of pre-filtering malware before sending questionable files up to the sandboxing layer. These first three layers block over 95% of all threats, but it is the final layer that is crucial for stopping the last few percent, the new and unknown threats, from getting onto the network. CPU emulation-based sandboxing. The last layer of defense is a comprehensive CPU emulation-based sandbox that will comprehensively detonate any attachment that is not conclusively analyzed by the preceding layers. By using CPU emulation techniques, the sandbox can detect threats that are designed to evade traditional virtualization-based sandboxes. Also, by pre-filtering the files through the other layers, BATP ensures that the sandbox is able to process the really complex threats with minimal delays. The Barracuda differentiation is that all this threat intelligence is shared across the entire portfolio of products, multiple hundreds of thousands of deployed devices. No matter where a threat is seen first, its information is immediately shared across all other products. This makes for a highly efficient system with very broad threat intelligence. It is not adequate to just protect a single threat vector with threat intelligence that you glean from that threat vector, as Barracuda's competition does. The URL filtering service has numerous categories constantly being updated as new websites are being created. We also provide customizable response pages and reporting. We not only have a block and allow feature, but also a warn and continue, which allows a custom message to be shown to the end user to click on before they proceed. This allows organizations to remind users that they are on a corporate network and should always be mindful of their behavior. We also provided a bulk edit feature for our white and black lists, so numerous predefined exceptions can be added quickly instead of having to retype everything. Application detection allows for very granular rules to be created for users in order to govern who can access what and when they can access it. We can identify not only the apps themselves, but also the sub-applications as well. For example, you could protect employee productivity and uplink bandwidth by blocking unwanted traffic like P2P, allowing Facebook and Twitter on lunch break but block all other social content based on URL category, setting everything goes for MGMT users, lowering the priority for updates for everyone, giving business-critical application highest priority, but the application must use HTTP or HTTPS. Going beyond application detection, we can actually route based on the application information. You have the capability to deprioritize unimportant traffic and apply various QoS policies as needed. If you have a cheaper, less reliable link on ISPX, you can route all of your less important social media traffic through it and route all your business-critical traffic through a more reliable link on ISPZ. This allows you to use all of the bandwidth being paid for, but also ensures that business-critical traffic is getting top priority. Going even further into traffic intelligence and SD-WAN, we can actually define failover scenarios to ensure business-critical traffic receives top priority and maintains business continuity. If all the business-critical traffic was streaming on the primary link, and all the social media traffic was streaming down the secondary link, and the primary link failed, we can dynamically reroute all traffic to flow over the secondary link. We can also dynamically adjust the QoS policy on the secondary link to ensure that the business critical traffic now has top priority and won't experience any congestion, while the less important social media traffic can be set to receive best effort service. If the secondary link is an on-demand backup link, such as a wireless WAN, limitations can be implemented so that only the most critical traffic can use the link. For example, only allowing payment transactions through in order to make sure a business can still operate in an outage. This is a very important feature to have available when considering high availability and business continuity. The Barracuda Cloud Generation Firewall allows you to offer VPN access from anywhere and from any device. We have a mobile client called CUDA Launch designed for iOS and Android devices. We have an OS-independent customizable SSL VPN option that only needs a browser with Java. We have a FAT client for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS X. Barracuda is also an early mover in the public cloud space. Because of this, you're able to provide the same features and functionality to your customers, regardless of how they want to deploy the CGF, physically, virtually, or in the public cloud. All of the security options are the same as well, so there is no need to learn a new configuration process depending upon how the CGF is deployed. Currently, the CGF is supported in Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, and Google Cloud Platform public cloud environments. Reports are generated via the Report Creator tool for Windows. The Report Creator generates scheduled reports based on admin requirements and distributes them in PDF format via email. Consolidated reports for more than one box are available, as well as anonymized reports for management or privacy reasons. The report generator is completely free to run on your PC and can be downloaded from our website. There are no servers to spin up or subscription fees to pay. This is a great way for you to demonstrate your value to the end customer, as well as possibly start a conversation about any additional services your organization could offer them based upon what you see in their traffic patterns. The key advantages to the Barracuda CGF are the ability to see and understand what kind of traffic is going through your network so that you can create appropriate rules and policies to ensure end users have the best experience possible. Being able to maintain business continuity and utilizing all the bandwidth that is getting paid for is a key factor in customer success. Simple licensing with everything included in the monthly fee prevents any confusion or frustration about additional purchases or requirements if the security policy needs to be changed or if new users are added. There is no per-seat license cost for VPN connections. Simply make sure that the CGF can support the traffic and not create a bottleneck in the network, and you can add as many remote users as you need. Now let's take a look at the management options. We'll talk about the fully managed solution in the next slide. The local web interface is a very easy-to-use configuration tool that allows you to quickly configure a standalone CGF with most of the basic configurations required by organizations. The local Windows client allows for much more granular configuration as a standalone firewall and is a more powerful and complex management tool. The local Windows client is also used to manage multiple firewalls simultaneously through our central management console, Control Center. The Managed Firewall as a Service has been a very successful program and allows for pretty complete hands-off management. The best part of this service is you're essentially purchasing a Security Operations Center. A person will be monitoring the traffic and remediating anything that happens in your network 24/7. You will receive updates about the situation as it is happening, as well as action plans for resolution. Most of the heavy lifting is done early on. You will sit with our services team to discuss your security policy and your client needs. From there, the services team will create a configuration that will be put on the firewall whenever you're ready to deploy it to your customer. After that, the service team will take care of everything else, including providing you with reports that you can pass along to your customer. This is a great option for MSPs that currently do not have the time or resources to focus heavily on learning the firewall technology, but would still like to be able to provide their clients with a robust security offering. We're now going to take a look at the Control Center product demonstration. First, let's take a look at the Control Center interface. What we're looking at now is the status map for all of the firewalls being managed in our demo environment. You can see the different status indicators showing green for OK, orange for a warning, and red. What we're looking at now is called Firewall Live. This window shows all the traffic passing through the firewall in real time. We have it sorted by bits sec, so we can see the top bandwidth streams traversing the firewall. If there were to be a stream here that was taking up too much bandwidth on the network and preventing business-critical traffic from getting through, such as video streaming or P2P file sharing, there are several things we can do. First, if we right-click on the stream, we can terminate the session immediately, if necessary. Another option is to adjust the quality of service to choke, so that traffic stream is no longer getting high priority and more important traffic can get through. Both of these are effective methods to immediately remediate a customer issue and get them back to passing their business-critical traffic. Next, let's take a look at the firewall history window. This window shows all of the traffic that has passed through the firewall over time. Right now, we have it sorted by timestamp, so we can see when each stream happened, but we can search and sort on numerous other categories depending upon what information is needed. Another great feature of the firewall history is that it can be exported for archiving compliance requirements or to another SIEM if necessary. Now let's take a look at the Monitoring tab. This is a great window for giving end users access, so that they can have a quick look at everything going on in the firewall without giving them access to anything that could create security vulnerabilities. Each of the windows can be moved around, added or removed to display information in order of relevance to the user. Also, clicking on individual items allows users to drill down on specific attributes and see the related information. Now let's take a look at the Configuration tab on the individual firewall. The firewall itself is built out into 3 layers. The box layer, which is the metal and plastic, has a virtual server layer built on top of it, and the services layer is built on top of the virtual server. A similar design occurs in smartphones with the phone as the box layer, the operating system as the virtual server layer, and the applications as the services layer. This design was also done for high availability so that a single virtual server can overlay multiple boxes. If one of the boxes were to fail, the services would see no interruption because they only see the virtual server and not the box layer. Now if you check back to the Configuration tab on the Control Center, we can see that same firewall with all the same options and features. This is a very nice feature because once you become comfortable configuring an individual firewall, those same features and options can be configured in the same manner through the Control Center. With the Control Center, you're able to centrally manage and configure all of your individual firewalls through a single pane of glass. Now, configuring each firewall individually through this single pane of glass is great, but the real advantage of using the Control Center is the range repository. The range repository is a set of templates for anything that can be configured in the firewall. You can have range repositories for any of the available firewall configurations, and you can have as many as you want. For example, say you have a client bound by HIPAA regulation, and one of those regulations states you need to go ahead and change your password every 90 days. So with a traditional firewall, that would mean you're logging into the firewall, changing the password, logging into the next one, and changing its password, and so on and so forth. Not necessarily difficult work, but very time-consuming. With the firewall managed by Control Center, doing this is significantly easier. So what we have gone ahead and done is created a range repository template named HIPAA admin. After we open it up, we see the option where we would change the password. Once that is done, we close the page, then right-click on HIPAA admin. and select multiple object action. From here, we can use Control-Click to select whichever firewalls we want to update and click Go. Or, if we want to, we can hit Control-A and select all the firewalls and click Go to update all the firewalls at once. This is an incredibly powerful and time-saving feature of the Control Center. Now let's move on to the VPN capabilities of the firewall. What we're looking at now is the Firewall GTI, or Graphical Tunnel Interface Editor. Say for example you need to create a VPN mesh for a client with multiple client locations. What you can do is just hold Control and click the different sites that need to be connected in the mesh. From there, you simply drag them to the bottom of the screen and the full mesh for all those sites is created. If you click on any of the tunnel links, you can then see all of the tunnel properties displayed. If you decided you don't actually need links, you can simply click on them and hit the X icon to delete it. If you find out later that you actually do need that link, you can simply click one of the firewalls and drag a link to another, and the tunnel between them is automatically created. If later on the customer needs to add another site to the mesh, you can simply select it from the top, drag it to the below mesh, and the mesh is updated. If a site needs to be removed, you can simply right-click on the site to remove it from the group, and then select Yes to delete all of the associated tunnels for that site. This is a very powerful technology, allowing for very easy management of site-to-site VPN connections, and there are a couple of reasons Barracuda is able to do this. First, the Control Center and Firewall were developed at the same time, so they integrate very closely, with the Control Center understanding all the relevant firewall VPN settings. The second reason is because Barracuda developed a proprietary VPN protocol called TINA, which is based off of IPsec, but a little more robust and a little less resource intensive. So we can build these tunnels dynamically. We can definitely interoperate with other vendors using the standard IPsec protocol, but using TINA tunnels when managing Barracuda devices with the Control Center makes everything much easier and less prone to error.